nothing is what you think it is, and that everything is the same thing. Those are my interests.
The artist Willie Cole has been working with shoes, a lot, for about 4 years now. That's why his studio in Denville looks like this. His work has been shown around the world, including at his hometown museum, the Newark Museum.
A lot of my inspiration comes from tribal art. This was a face that I made about 3 years ago that I never found a body. Feet, legs, arms, and elbows. And this is the head that will eventually go on there. So it'll be laying kind of like that with his head to the side. My son collected sneakers. He didn't really collect them, but he didn't throw them away, and I didn't force him to. So when he was about 10 years old, he had probably 10 pairs of sneakers. And I started sewing them together to make something, but I felt I needed more of them. So I went to the thrift store. And I walked in the store, I saw women's shoes, more women's shoes than men's shoes. So I decided to use them. So it's basically about availability, abundance, and the unique quality is they have variety and similarity at the same time. I actually did my first shoe piece when I was in Newark, and I think that was maybe around 1992. I made 3 heads and a chair. When I make the furniture, I take the heel off of the shoe so that I can use each shoe slid down on a pipe. So I end up with all these heels left over. And I see each one, especially with the color ones, I see each one as a brush stroke. It's like doing a oil painting in a pointillist style. My father worked for one of the beer factories in Newark in the 50s. I forget which one it was, but we moved to Newark because he had a job at, was it Pabst Blue Ribbon or Budweiser, one of the beer factories there. We moved there in 1958. My parents always sent me to art classes. So I went to Arts High on Saturdays. I went to the museums, to Newark Museum. I went to summer art camps at my grandmother's house in Somerville, New Jersey. Then I went to Arts High School. So I always knew that I was creative, and I thought of myself as an artist. The Newark Museum has been very important to me in my development as an artist. It's the first place I saw African art. It's the first place I saw Tibetan art. It's the first place I saw real art, really. I didn't go to museums as a kid other than the Newark Museum. I think my first museum other than the Newark Museum came when I was in college. They have a piece called Stowage on display now. Stowage is one of my pieces from the steam iron and iron and board days. And it represents a slave ship. There's an illustration, famous illustration, of Brooks' slave ship, which shows the layout of the ship and the layout of the cargo, which were the people. I think that the art presence is very strong in Newark, but I don't know if it's affecting the average person. But I don't know if art ever does, you know. I guess it might eventually bring more art-aware people to the city of Newark and may increase the museum audience as well.